G'day everybody, Simon here, Explosive Action. I'm back with another Blu-ray movie update. Got a decent pile here to take a look at, so let's get into it. And a reminder, as always, this video went to channel members first. You can join the channel for 99 cents a month, get early access to videos such as these, and perhaps some exclusives in the future. So before we get into it, apologies if I sound a little bit croaky. I'm on the tail end of a cold. It's almost gone. It's getting there. But, you know, updates got to happen. I'm trying to do them every week. I think you may have noticed it's been pretty consistent. I've been doing a weekly video of some description for a few months now, and it's been a good cadence for me. So didn't want to let a little sniffle get in the way of that one, so we won't. Got the Blu-ray update today with one single DVD, which I will start off with. I got this one used off eBay. Yeah, I got it for a very good price. This is The Last Round, a film by Stelvio Marci with Luke Miranda and Carlos Monzon. This is, No Shame release, old No Shame release, Eurocrime. One of those ones I've been wanting to see for a long time. No Blu-ray yet. It is an edition that has a bonus CD and booklet. You get a nice booklet. And you get the movie on DVD and what do they call it? The Ultimate Eclectic Synedelic Experience, Funky Cops and Hard-Boiled Girls, as performed by Entropia. Full mouthful there, but yeah, recreation, I suppose, there of some Eurocrime themes. Haven't tracked that on yet, but anyway, as for the film, read you from the back. Last Round, Il Conto e Chiuso, my Italian's as good as my Chinese, is gritty, violent updating of A Fistful of Dollars and a Few Dollars More. Former middleweight boxing champion Carlos Monzon stars as a drifter who arrives in town with nothing but a music box and pictures of two dead women. Offering himself as a hired hand to the murderous Manzetti clan led by Luke Miranda, star of Gambling City, Marco makes a side deal with Manzetti's rivals, the Belmondo family, headed by the return of Sabata Mario Briga, setting the two gangs against one another in a powerful struggle that will leave more dead than alive. Revenge is the motive and the hell to pay for both guilty and innocent. So yeah, this one I've been quite curious about for a bit. And I was trying to fill in some gaps with Stelvio Marci films, and this was one that turned out I had quite a lot of his stuff, and I didn't have this one. And I was watching a few of his other films, and yeah, had a look around, and this one showed up. It looks like a decent release. It is it's widescreen. When did this come out? 2005. 2005, and No Shame, long gone. They kind of morphed into MYA, I think. I remember the story. Maya, MYA, kind of moved into that company. But yeah, 1976 film, and it's in... What audio do we have on this? Italian mono and English mono with optional English subs. So yeah, looking forward to checking out that one, The Last Round. That's the DVD, only one this time. And we'll go to the Blu-rays. We stay actiony, but we switch gears a little bit here. Acceleration with Dolph Lundgren. Not too sure what I can expect of this one. It was one of the later Dolphs. I'm a Dolph completionist. You should know this by now. And it looked like one that wasn't going to be brilliant, and I wasn't going to pay the price that's been asked for the last 2 years. And then there was a ridiculously cheap sale at Amazon for one day, 20 Australian dollars delivered, I don't know, 13 US including shipping. I'm like, okay, fine. We've dropped more than half price of what they were asking originally. So Vladik Zorik, that's Dolph Lundgren. He's playing a Vladik now. A villainous crime lord. I don't like it when he's the bad guy, but anyway. Is double-crossed by his most trusted operative, Rona. That's Natalie Byrne. Is this Natalie Byrne? I don't know. We'll take a stab that she is. Vladik's propensity for power and control and violence drive him to kidnap Rona's son, forcing her to participate in a twisted plan to eliminate Vladik's enemies. To keep her on a short leash, Vladik sets out the rules to his game and oversees Rona's every move as she navigates the darkened streets of LA. As her son's life hangs in the balance, Rona struggles to eliminate the most violent and depraved delinquents. However, Vladik underestimates the power of a mother's love and finds himself losing control of his devious plan. So it sounds like poor Dolph's going to cop it at the end of this. We've got Sean Patrick Flannery is listed as number one here. I cannot expect him to be the son. I mean, he's a million years old. With Chuck Little and yeah, is this Natalie Byrne? I'll assume she is. And Quentin Rampage Jackson and Danny Trejo. It's not a gangster film if you don't have Danny Trejo. So look, the cast is okay, and I do like my cheap action films, but I remember reading this wasn't a brilliant one. But we will see. Simple, basic release. It had a slipcover, but look, I've said it before, like the mass market slipcovers, the ones that are just the same thing, and it's got like the cutout for the UPC, and then Amazon sends them and they get destroyed on every quarter. Like, I just stick them in a box. There's no value added for those slipcovers. I don't care. Looks much better without it. So there you go, acceleration. These two I picked up locally. I was not in the market for these because they're not exactly legit, but there is no current legit option. I say that knowing that apparently some German Blu-ray box set's coming out. Again, I wouldn't know if that's legit or not. Apparently this is all stuck with Warner, but I picked up the Spanish releases of Seagal's Fire Down Below and Glimmerman. So yeah, these are you can get these on like Amazon Spain, right? But as most people know, the Spanish Blu-rays, the vast majority are what the rest of the world would say grey market at best. I've seen a video all about this where the laws in Spain allow this kind of stuff, blah blah blah. I don't know, but is what it is. From what I also remember with these two releases, they use the HD prints from the HD TV transmissions, which thankfully are good. I mean, these are pressed discs. I pop them in and they look good. That'll do for now, and they're English. I mean, it's fine. They look great. They look better than the DVD. They sound fine. They're just maybe, I don't know, perhaps not entirely authorized. Yeah. So, and this is also showing off what I've been doing lately with these things. If the spine is not in English, and it's going to piss me off, I've got my little my Dymo printer. Don't worry, it's on the plastic on the outside. It comes off. It's fine. So I've just been putting those on to cover up things that are not English friendly. The Glimmerman's these fine. So yeah, look, I enjoy both of these ones. These are right at the tail end of his Warner Brothers cinematic releases. This is pretty much it. I think after Glimmerman might have been The Foreigner. Is it The Foreigner? I get that confused with another one at the same time. Whichever one he did with in the outback town with hillbillies and the CDC and like a virus and all that kind of thing. That's whatever that one's called. I can't remember if that's The Foreigner or something else. I can't remember. Anyway, that one I think was his last cinematic release, and then it was all direct to video from then. But anyway, yeah, these two are good, and they're about as good as you're going to get at the moment. So I picked them up from somebody on Facebook that was just selling them locally. I'm like, yep, okay. I'll pay the 15 Australian dollars for these. Happy enough. Better than the DVDs. Moving on to something slightly more legit and upmarket, we have the Monster on page 1. This is the Radiance release. We're into Eurocrime territory again. This one I'd known about coming out for a while and hadn't quite researched enough about to see if this was the Eurocrime kind of thing that I wanted to see, or is it going to be a bit more, procedural and straight-laced and not entirely exciting. But it's been, when I was looking it up, it's been topping a lot of Letterboxd lists of like top 10 Eurocrime films, so that was enough. And then combine that with the fact that it dropped in price on Amazon, and I was going to pick it up, and it's a Radiance release, so look, whatever. Yeah, so you get the sort of, I don't know what they call this wraparound strip. It's almost like an OBI. Days before a general election, a young girl is raped and murdered. Bizanti, Gian Maria Volante from the working class, goes to heaven. The editor of a right-wing newspaper uses the story to help the conservative candidate his paper supports. Italy's famous years of lead are memorably depicted in the Marco Bellocchio's powerful thriller. In an age of media manipulation, Slap the Monster on page 1 has never been more relevant. This is an interesting point, and stands proudly alongside such Italian activist classics as We Still Kill, The Old Way, and the Mattei Affair. Neither of those I'm familiar with, so I have to look into those. New 4K restoration, nice booklet and all that kind of stuff in here. It's 1972, directed by Marco Bellocchio, 87 minutes, and it's in Italian, which is good. You get a booklet thing about the film, disc, and reversible image, which I guess is one of the posters. I didn't mind that, but I did actually prefer the other one here. And yeah, this slip does come off. I can take that out and pocket it inside if I wish. But yeah, The Monster on page 1. I've heard many, many good things, so I'll pop that one up the list. And the next 3 yeah, next three ones I got off eBay. Is it 3 or 4? 3, whatever. I thought there was more. Three of these I got off eBay from a reasonably known Australian local seller that has a lot of Eurocrime and a lot of things like that, and seems to just sell them once he's watched them. I'm not entirely sure, but because they're all imports, and this one particularly here is actually out of print, but his prices are very good. So, and he takes best offers. So I was like, had all three in my cart, and I sent him a thing saying, "How about this?" And he accepted it. Very, very good price. So for all three of these, yeah, Meet Him and Die, directed by Franco Prosperi. The Eurocrime that I was very keen to see. This one with the original slipcase. It's a little bit battered from the post, but it's still good. Frame by frame, digitally restored, first-time Blu-ray release, rare entry into the poliziotecce genre. Robbery goes terribly wrong for the hapless criminal Massimo Ray Lovelock. He's in a lot of these things. When he tries to break into a jewelry store, only to have the steel shutters immediately slam down and lock him inside until the police arrive. Naturally, he's sent straight to jail. Doesn't take long before he befriends a big crime boss inside, but the plot thickens when it transpires the young man is actually not who we think he is. The two execute a successful escape, and we soon find that we don't really know the true background of these criminals or what's really motivating them. Franco Prosperi, who did Last House on the Beach, directs this revenge-themed crime film with Ray Lovelock and LK Summer. Clever plot twist, fist fights, motorcycle, and car chases. All things I enjoy. Meet Him and Die is an entertaining police action thriller. We get video introduction by Mike Malloy and some English subs and a nice booklet. So is it... we have Italian with English subs, yep. So there's no English dub, I don't think. There's the side picture, which is also nice. Disc, booklet. So yeah, I looked around. I think this one actually is out of print. But what that tends to mean these days, this is an actual Raro, and there's a very, very, very good chance that either it has already been announced or it's going to be announced by Kino, because there's now this relationship between Raro and Kino Lorber, and they've been steadily reissuing some of these Raro Eurocrime Blu-rays in the States. So yeah, Meet Him and Die, you probably get another chance at that soon. And the next two are, again, I can't say much about these ones because one, I haven't watched them, and two, these are German releases, but this is Counselor of Crime. Again, I picked up from this guy. And that's what I like. I like picking up these German ones because to get these, I usually have to go to like Strange Vice or some other kind of company like that, and the postage can always be a little bit pricey. So to have these appear locally and then him accept their best offer, I was very, very happy. I got these for essentially regular Blu-ray prices, so yeah, happy. Thomas Millian in Counselor at Crime. Said it's all in German, can't read you much about it, but we do have English and Italian options, but only German subs, so this will be an English dub watch. 102 minutes, and let's read some of them. We've got Francisco Rabal, Dagmar Lacinda, and John Anderson, directed by, can't tell which one. Alberto Di Martino is the director. So disc, and I think it had a reverse. We did, yes, with the ratings sticker. So I do like it when the German releases lets you flip it and get rid of that annoying ratings blob. I do think the German one, the big block in the corner, is probably the most annoying. I don't mind the Australian ratings logos. I'm pretty used to them, and they're consistent, but the German one's got... and the next one, too, we have Young, Violent, and Dangerous. And this one, I think I did just see, is getting a release from Kino Raro now. I think I just read that. So, Liberia Amati Pericolosi. There you go. We've got Eleonora Giorgi, Thomas Millian again, Max Delis, Benjamin Lev, and Stefano Patrizzi. It is a film by Romolo Guerrieri. There you go. And we have Italian and English audio, and we do get English subs on this one, so that's a nice choice there. There's the back. Young, Violent, and Dangerous. This one has had good reviews when I was reading up on it. Again, I can't read you much from the back. It's all in German, but it is 97 minutes long, and it is presented in scope. This one does have a reverse cover. I think this is what I saw was the version coming from Kino had this cover, so maybe have a look around for that if you're keen for Kino. But it'll just be this print, I'm sure, and probably have maybe some features that I don't have, but I don't care. It's all good. Yeah, Young, Violent, and Dangerous. Looking forward to that one. And we're moving now from Europe into Asia. We're going to have a bunch of Hong Kong films. The first one here, and a lot of Eureka titles here. Eureka are absolutely slaying it at the moment. Probably, if you're going to make me choose my favorite company at the moment, it's got to be Eureka. I think they're the most consistent. They're putting out stuff I'm pretty keen on. And there's just been no... I'd almost subscribe to them, honestly. The Sword. This one's a little bit older. I hadn't just got around to picking it up. Patrick Tam Kar Ming film. Read you from the back. Best known as key contributor to the Hong Kong New Wave as director of My Heart Is That Eternal Rose and the editor of Wong Kar-wai's Days of Being Wild and Ashes of Time. Ashes of Time's one I've got to watch. It looks kind of weird. Patrick Tam begins his filmmaking career with The Sword, a love letter to the wuxia genre starring Adam Cheng from Zoo Warriors. Believing that he is in possession of a cursed blade, the legendary swordsman Fa Chin Shu, that's Tian Feng from King Boxer, has retreated to the martial arts world to live in peaceful seclusion. However, his retirement has done nothing to dampen his reputation. A young warrior, Li Mak-yin, that's Cheng, wishes to challenge the master in order to test his own sword fighting skill. But as Li searches for the reclusive Fa Chin Shu so that he may face him in combat, he finds himself entangled with old lovers and new rivals. Soon it becomes apparent that the old master's sword really must be cursed and will perhaps bring nothing but tragedy to those that seek it. So yeah, this is from the 80s. This is 1980 on the dot, Hong Kong film. So quite late in this kind of cycle. After a period of dormancy, wuxia films resurged in the 1980s as the likes of Duel to the Death, Bastard Swordsman, and Sui Hark's Zoo Warriors, as we mentioned. They rejected the realist approach adopted by Kung Fu cinema in the previous decade. And I do find the 80s ones quite fascinating. There's a lot of fantasy elements in them. Yeah, here we go. It's the first time on Blu-ray and 2K restoration. So you get a bunch of features, Cantonese audio and optional English dub tracks in original mono. And you get the usual commentary by Frank Zhang and Mike Alida and a whole bunch of other little features and things. So there is, I guess, the original poster. Cool. Get booklet. Really can't be bothered getting the booklets out today. That's what you're in for with their special editions. And yes, unlike those mass market slips, I do enjoy the Eureka ones. All very nice, nicely presented premium releases. The Sword. Next up. This one I actually got on eBay. I had a bit of a Ringo Lam kick, which we'll get to after the next one is what sparked this off. I'm like, I've got a lot of Ringo Lam. I need to watch more Ringo Lam, but what am I missing? And this one became an obvious thing I was missing, and it had a Blu-ray, and it came from Eureka, and there was one on local Australia for very, very cheap. So full alert. Happy to pick this one up. Yeah, like I said, it's a Ringo Lam film. A late career highlight from Ringo Lam, an action-packed tale of cops and robbers presented in the director's inimitable, I hate that word, style. Perfectionist, workaholic Inspector Pao Lu Ching Wang, running out of time, finds himself up against Mac Quan Francis Hung from The Mission, a seasoned criminal intending to use his explosive skills to pull a huge heist. Pao must use his own resources to stop Mac and prevent heavy civilian casualties. With heart-stopping car chases, CHASRS. Whoops, typo there, Eureka. On the streets of Hong Kong, and brilliant performances by the two leads, Full Alert is an intelligent, high-velocity action movie considered to be one of director Ringo Lam's finest works. It is from 1997, so we're post-reclamation of Hong Kong here, but it would have been filmed in 96, probably right at the tail end, on the outgoing. But I'm expecting this to be quite good. Ringo Lam, his stuff is great. I enjoy his American films. He did with like Van Damme. Yeah, good stuff. You get Cantonese original audio, English subs. You get Frank Zhang again, commentary, and also one by Ringo Lam himself, which would be interesting. So, yep, slip. This one, I don't think we had a reverse, did we? No, we didn't. So it's just the same cover there with just an art piece behind it, booklet and disc. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this one out. The Ringo Lam collection and my whole heroic bloodshed films are growing. If you put a gun to my head and said what's your favorite era and type of Hong Kong films, it's gonna be the heroic bloodshed and the girls with guns. Like I just group those together. On my shelf, I have a little label that says heroic bloodshed and girls with guns. Put all that together, kind of my favorite Hong Kong stuff, like 80s and early 90s, just gritty gun fu stuff. Yeah. Which brings us to The Adventurers, another Ringo Lam. This is a newer one, came out by Eureka. I watched this and enjoyed it very much, which is why I went back and picked up another film. The only collaboration between action master Ringo Lam, City on Fire, and Hong Kong superstar Andy Lau, Internal Affairs. The Adventurers is an explosive story of heroic bloodshed, featuring Rosamund Kwan from Once Upon a Time in China, David Xiang from Election, and Victor Wong, Big Trouble in Little China. Wai Lok Yan Lau was 8 years old when his parents were killed before his eyes in Cambodia, where his father had been working for the CI during Pol Pot's ascent to power in the latter days of the Cambodian Civil War. That's a brutal opening sequence, I gotta say. Taken to Thailand by his father's colleague, Shang, Yan grows up to join the Thai Air Force and comes to discover that his father's murderer, Ray Louis, that's Paul Chun from Royal Tramp, once a double agent, has now become a wealthy arms dealer based in the USA. With the help of the CIA, Yan intends to get close to Louis and have his revenge by taking on the assumed identity and gaining the trust of Louis' daughter, Crystal, played by Jacqueline Wu, a moment of romance. But first he will need to go undercover in San Francisco's criminal underworld to rescue her from the clutches of the criminal Black Tiger gang. Made shortly before Ringo Lam departed for Hollywood to make Maximum Risk with Van Damme, The Adventurers is a hidden gem amongst the many heroic bloodshed films produced in Hong Kong in the early 90s. First Blu-ray outside of Asia, nice 2K restoration. And I did enjoy this one very, very much. I recommend. Unrestored Cantonese stereo track, a restored Cantonese track, and 5.1 options if you want. Which might be, this is a 90s film. It may have well been shot in 5.1. I have no idea. I tend to just stick to the stereo things anyway with most Hong Kong films. Or pretty much all, if I can. Commentary by David West, interview with Gary Bettison, editor-in-chief from Asian Cinema Journal, and some archival interviews with Shandy Shaw, theatrical trailer, and a bunch of other things. Yep. I liked this cover as well. Not too sure where that might have been used. Feels like something that might have been on like an old Me R DVD. Booklet and disc. But yeah, this was a good one. A little bit revengey, very gritty, very bloodsheddy, very Ringo Lam. So The Adventurers, recommend. And this one, I watched the first of the two films yesterday. I completely missed this. Eureka has so much good stuff that occasionally I miss things. I think this one's been out a while, and I was looking it up. I think I was looking up some Chow Yun-fat films. I saw this, went and looked at Eureka. Oh, they've got it, and not only do they have it, but they were down to the last 22 copies, and it was on sale. Like, okay, well, now's the time. So here we are with The Rich and Famous Tragic Hero. I think at the time of this video, there's about 20 copies left. So check it out if you want to pick this up. I have so far watched Rich and Famous, and the reviews I'm reading say that Tragic Hero is actually the superior, more action-heavy film. But I enjoyed very much Rich and Famous. Kind of a Hong Kong Godfather, but done with the heroic bloodshed and a little bit of the wacky Hong Kong comedy. Two-film saga influenced by The Godfather and Once Upon a Time in America. Taylor Wong's Rich and Famous and Tragic Hero tell decades-spanning tale of brotherhood and betrayal with a heroic bloodshed twist. Rich and Famous brothers Jung, Alex Mann, and Kwok, Andy Lau, enter a dangerous world of violent criminals to pay off a gambling debt, crossing paths with the charismatic gangster Lee Chai, that's Chow Yun-fat, and he really is charismatic. In terms of, your standard crime boss you see in these films, this guy you'd invite to your house for drinks. In fact, they actually do. Like, he seems the most nicest, level-headed crime boss you've ever going to see. Doesn't even look like there's crime involved. And then there is. But he's still level-headed. He's very interesting representation, I thought. The two brothers join his gang and quickly rise through the ranks. Then, in the spectacularly action-packed Tragic Hero, which one I haven't seen yet, that'll probably be over this weekend, the fortunes of all three characters have changed significantly, with one of the brothers now a violent triad leader seeking revenge. The plot of the first film does see the brothers go on a bit of an emotional journey as well as a physical one. The gun fu in the first one, there's like a robbery goes wrong thing in the middle of the film, and every bastard is shot. It is just outrageous. It's worth the price of entry for the middle of that film, Richard Famous. Also starring Danny Lee, who would reunite with Chow Yun-fat 2 years later for John Woo's The Killer. And isn't it great? We're now going to be getting typical. We wait years and years and years to get proper, decent Western Blu-rays of The Killer and all those films, John Woo ones. But now, of course, every bus has come at once. We've got Shout doing them and then licensing them out to everyone else. I don't remember there's a German company that's picked them up. I think the UK company's picked it up. I don't remember which one. Might have been Arrow. Great. We're going to have options. Amazing. Can't wait for those. But Rich and Famous, Tragic Hero make their Blu-ray debuts in UK from restorations. So, yeah, recommended. We get Cantonese audio track, which is what I watched. English dub audio, I didn't watch that. New subs. Frank Zheng. Commentary, as usual. Dub Masters, brand new documentary featuring interviews with Simon Broad, the voice of Chow Yun-fat for the English language releases of his films. Oh, that's interesting. I should check that out. I might chuck that on after I watch the second film. Heroes and Villains, Johnny Mac Style, an interview with script writer Manfred Wong. That's an archival interview. A Race for the Heroes, an interview with Michael Mack, another archival interview, trailers, and a booklet. There's the two films, Rich and Famous, Tragic Hero, and booklet looking incredibly explosive. Poster there, looks like a VCD cover. Rich and Famous disc, and the Tragic Hero disc. Yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed Rich and Famous. It was kind of different to what I was expecting, and Chow Yun-fat was not the crime boss I was expecting. He's not as you've got to bow and be as super respectful, and he's dangerous. Watch out of The Godfather, but he's almost got like a can't all these this triads get along kind of vibe. It's really interesting, but yeah, if you cross him, still not good. And it has things like like you have in like Godfather, like there's a big wedding scene and it all goes bad, stuff like that. So yeah, good film, Rich and Famous, and I'll be checking out Tragic Hero soon. Down to 20 copies or something directly from Eureka to get the edition with slips. Eureka's shipping is free worldwide. Only takes about a week to get to Australia, so yeah, check it out. Into some Shores. We've had a bunch of Lady and the whatever films. We had Lady as the Boss come out from them really recently. We now have two more. The Lady of the Law, number 47, if you're keeping track on the 88 films Shaw Brothers line. I'm not so much anymore. I just get the ones I want to get. And I even sort them alphabetically just to piss my 8-year-old version of me off. That was one of the big things I changed a few years ago, and I've been into that, is getting rid of spine numbers and sorting by labels. No, I sort by alphabetical and genre, and it's much better. A dangerous criminal escapes captivity, but luckily crime-busting super swordsman Leng Rushuang, that Shi Zhu, Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, is on his trail. However, she has doubts about his guilt, and she's not going to stop the fighting until she's sure the right man is being punished. Co-starring Lo Lei from Dragons Forever, unmistakable Dean Sheck from Drunken Master. Lady of the Law is a choice cut from the golden age of Hong Kong swordplay. 88 films proud to present blah blah blah. First time in the UK, we get new artwork here from Rob Bruno. Poster, which I will not unfold, but it's in there. It's in scope. It's in original Mandarin and has newly translated English subs. Commentary by David West, and not much else. The later, I don't care. Others may care, but I don't care. But the more recent Shaw releases from 88 films have been quite limited on their special features. And like I said, I don't care. I very rarely watch this stuff. Just watch the films. There's the original artwork. Oh, very tight, this one. There's the poster in there. I can unfold, and the disc. So yeah, nice reverse cover. So yes, Lady of the Law, sitting right next to Lady as the Boss that I watched recently, which was a laugh. And then we have Lady with a Sword, and this one's got very lenticular cover, very fancy schmancy. When her sister is attacked and murdered, swordsman Feng Fei Fei, Lily Ho, Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan, knows what to do. Find the culprits, slice them up. Righteous vengeance is compromised when she learns who target is, the man her parents have arranged for her to marry. Classic tale. Strikingly directed by Cao Pao Shu, notable as one of the few women who handled martial arts movies, Lady with a Sword has an emotional power to match its outstanding fight scenes as justice, family loyalties, and inflexible tradition all collide. 88 films, blah blah, feminist classic. We get the new artwork here from Kung Fu O'Brien, Kung Fu Bob. There's a poster again, and not many special features, just David West commentary, stills gallery, that kind of stuff. Do like that is a very nice poster. That's very, very classic. That's really cool. That's the kind of thing I would put on the wall for sure. And inside, just the poster and the disc. So again, not fussed that they have less features or whatever, just give me a nice release. And this is number 48 if you're playing at home. You also get the option of which spine to show. So there you go. Very, very schmancy lenticular. The Shaw Brother hits keep coming. And there's more of these already. One that's already out and I have to pick up. And then there's another one that was announced today from Eureka. It's hard. We're at this point now where, like, what if you imagine, say, 6-7 years ago, the absolute onslaught of Shaw Brothers Blu-rays coming out from the UK and the US. It is ridiculous. It is absolute golden age of Shaw Brothers on Blu-ray. The magnificent Chang-Che collection, which we have the Magnificent Trio and Magnificent Wanderers, 2 films. I quite like that Eureka is helping us consolidate shelf space by having some well thought about collections, not just sporadic thrown together collections. Like, the Sharp Factory boxes, they're great, but they're just pretty much whatever film off the shelf. I do like the Eureka ones here, where these are 2 magnificent titled films. They're both Chang-Che. Let's put them together, save some shelf space, all that kind of stuff. It's nice. We get one of Shaw Brothers' most prolific directors, Chang-Che. Is it Che? Do I say is it Che? Chang-Che, because that's how I've been saying it. Of The Godfather of Hong Kong Cinema, or The Godfather of Hong Kong Cinema. The filmmaker behind 5 Deadly Venoms, Chinatown Kid, and Boxer Rebellion. Collected here are 2 films by his maestro of martial arts cinema that showcase his considerable talents, both ends of his career. Magnificent Trio, produced when Wuxia Films ruled Hong Kong box office in the mid-60s. Magnificent Wanderers, made at the height of Kung Fu craze at the end of the 70s. So very different time periods. An early role that predates his star-making turn in Chang's The One-Armed Swordsman. Jimmy Wang Yu stars in The Magnificent Trio as swordsman Lu Fang. Leads his martial arts prowess to a group of oppressed farmers when they kidnap the daughter of their local magistrate. Teams up with his equally formidable warriors in the process. Then, Kung Fu comedy, Magnificent Wanderers. The 3 nomads in Lin Xiaoyu, Feng Fusheng, Shi Da-yong, Shi Quan-chun, and Wian Fei Li Yimin attempt to join Chinese patriots in their struggle against invading Mongol armies with the help of wealthy Chu Tixiao. Played by David Chiang. Excuse me, the cold, it just keeps coming. Straight-faced Wuxia Pain, 2 farcical kung fu comedy. Magnificent Trio, Magnificent Warriors display the full range of Chang-Che, a filmmaker who has sat in the director's chair for 3 decades. Eureka Classics is proud to present both films on Blu-ray. We get the slipcover, or the O-card as they call them. HD presentations from masters supplied by Celestial Pictures. That's a nice way of saying they didn't remaster this is what they got. But the Celestial discs prints have always been good, like those old Joy Sales discs that had Celestial branding. That's why those DVDs still hold up. They were good prints. English dubbed audio or original mono audio tracks, presumably Cantonese, or Mandarin. Commentary on The Magnificent Trio by Frank Zhang. Commentary on Magnificent Wanderers by Mike Leder and Arnie Vanima. There you go. I remember seeing someone complain about this, that the inner poster on this one's not great. It's just a photo. I don't know if something doesn't exist. It's the same on the other film underneath it. Like, they're just photos. Whatever. Just use the slipcover. If they ever release this as a regular edition, booklet, I'd be curious to see what they use for the cover. But I quite like the slipcase wraparound anyway. So there you go. Magnificent Chang-Che. Nice little set there. And we move on to the last of the Shaw Brothers. This one came out actually before that, and I was again waiting for a decent price. Interested in these. I'm curious, very curious about these, because these are historical. Horrible history. Four historical epics by Chang Che. We get Marco Polo, The Pirate, Boxer Rebellion, and Four Riders. Again, all Shaw's, often described as the godfather of Hong Kong cinema. We just went through all that. We get Marco Polo, the eponymous Venetian explorer, Richard Harrison, becomes embroiled in a battle between the Mongol Empire and Chinese rebels in the 13th century. Richard Harrison? Excellent. In The Pirate, the infamous 19th century raider Chung Ho Sai, played by Ti Lung, must evade agents of the imperial court by attempting to aid the downtrodden residents of the coastal village. In Boxer Rebellion, a group of Chinese patriots use kung fu to protect the nation against invading forces at the turn of the 20th century. Finally, in Four Riders, a Chinese veteran of the Korean War enlists three comrades to help him escape the South Korean military police command after he's falsely accused of murdering an American soldier. That last one is the one that really kind of made me go, I think I'll pick this set up. I was a little bit on the fence. I'm like, it's historical. I can sometimes go either way. But yeah, the Four Riders actually sounds like a pretty good one. I'm sure they're all going to be good films, but anyway. Fascinating examples of the rewriting of history common in popular genre cinema, directed but with aplomb by a veteran of Shaw Brothers in Chang Che. HD Master Supply by Celestial again. It's a nice little like, almost put an asterisk on it. It's like Eureka sort of dusting their hands a bit, but they'll be good. We get mono audio tracks, English subs, commentary by all the people I've been talking about today, and a few other bits and bobs, and the slipcover. Don't mind that sort of diluted wrap around there. Very subtle. The booklet. Oops, I've got a rattly bit of plastic in there somewhere. Ah, yes. That's happened somewhere in the post. One of those little dealies has snapped. I remember that. Annoying, but not disgraceful to get 2 films per disc. And, yeah, it's alright. These things happen in the post sometimes. Yeah, Horrible History. 4 films, historical films by Chang Che. Looking forward to that. And we end with 4 box sets here, 4 really good ones. 2 local Australian releases from Imprint. Up first, we get there was a JB Hi-Fi sale in May. It's the sale that local movie collectors wait for every year, the mid-May sale, where it's buy one get one free Blu-rays and 4Ks. Box sets included. It's buy one get one free. Doesn't matter what the hell it is. And we all wait. A lot of people wait the whole year and just buy their entire year's want list. I'm not quite that disciplined, but I did pick up these 2 sets for effectively the price of one, which was great. We get Imprint's Flesh and Fantasy and Dead of Night. 2 films from the 40s, I think. We'll get into that. So, yeah, the Imprint style where you take the top off, which is nice. And inside, get our card, which I'll read from in a sec. Flesh and Fantasy, original poster, and Dead of Night, original poster. So you get 2 films, yep, nice little box set. Flesh and Fantasy. This is just all the features and stuff. Actually, I'll skip that. Just read you from the back of the films, much easier. So, Flesh and Fantasy, written when a jittery businessman complains of a disturbing dream, a friend relates 3 stories to help calm his nerves. In the first, a homely dressmaker wears a mask of beauty to attract a man on Mardi Gras night. A fortune teller predicts an eminent lawyer will commit a murder. And a high-wire artist, haunted by a nightmare in which he suffers a fall, romances a woman who resembles the one he had seen in his dream. So there you go. This is 1943, this one, with commentary by historians Rodney Barnett and Dr. Adrian Smith. And we get video essay, and we get a interview with film critic John Towson, author of The Turn to Gruesomeness in American Horror Films, 31 to 36. That's an interesting sounding book. So, yep, in here. Nice. I like the use of the photo there and the disc. Kind of makes it look Criterion-ish. And, yep, then we have Dead of Night. An architect visits a country house only to get trapped in a recurring nightmare involving tales of the occult told by fellow guests at the manor. I watched this one, and I don't think I was in the right mindset. I need to watch it again. I didn't dislike the film, but I was probably tuning in and out a little bit. So I do need to give this one a go again. I haven't watched Flesh and Fantasy yet. So yeah, my initial impressions were it was a little bit dull, but I think I was just not in the right mood. 1945. We have audio commentary by Pamela Hutchinson. I think she's the the Melbourne lady shows up in all kinds of things. I think that's Pamela Hutchinson. Short, Sharp Screams, Dead of Night, the British horror anthology interview with John Leyland Probert. Scoring the Night, George Auric and Dead of Night interview with author Dr. David Huckvale, and a Remembering Dead of Night documentary. So there you go. And like I said, I do need to rewatch it. Probably wasn't paying enough attention at the time. In fact, it was the film, and I'll put it out there because I know others are in the same position sometimes. It was the film that I realized at the end of it that I need to pay more attention when I watch movies that I don't already know. And I was getting into a bad habit of having the phone with me when watching films, new films. I don't care if I have the phone with me when I'm like watching some 40-minute TV show or whatever, but I made the executive decision that from now on, when I'm watching a brand new film, the phone goes on the charger, and that's it. Film. And I started doing that with the films that the Hong Kong films that I was showing there, and I think that not only helped measurably, but I was far more entertained. So if you're in the bad habit that I was getting into of having your phone with you and watching a film and then glancing down, that kind of thing, do what I'm doing and just put it away. And that's why I need to rewatch Dead of Night. So there you go. And when we have The Uninvited and The Unseen, another set of similarly aged films from Imprint. So yeah, it was very good to get these at half price, because these box sets, they're nice and luxurious, but they're about 65 Australian each, which I think is pushing it too much. I mean, you're paying for, look, they're nice boxes, but I don't need all this. Like, you don't even need two things. Like, you do a Eureka and just stick it on one disc in a case. But anyway, to get both box sets for 65, so about 32.50 each, that's fine. And that's Australian dollars, remember, so that's about 22 US each. That's fine. We get The Uninvited and The Unseen. We'll look at The Uninvited first. Seeking respite from the bustle of London life, a writer and his sister move into a neglected clifftop mansion and set about making it their home. However, it isn't long before our unnerving presence makes itself felt. Yep, your standard ghost kind of film. We have 2K digital transfer from a 35mm duplicate negative. Not really sure what a duplicate negative is, aside from it's just a copy of the original negative, which... Okay, cool. Audio commentary by noir expert and Film Noir Foundation board member Alan K. Rode. Uninvited and the Female Gothic video essay by Kat Ellinger. Is that the lady from Melbourne? I can't remember. One of these two is the ones from Melbourne. Whatever. Gail Russell, The Flame That Burned Twice as Bright. Interview with critic Imogen Sarah Smith and Lady Asta Screen Guild play with Ruth Hussey and Betty Phil, 1944. These original radio adaptations, and the Screen Directors Playhouse with director Lewis Allen from 1949. So 2 radio adaptations chucked on there. Uninvited, Paramount film, and The Unseen. I like the poster on that one. Widower David Felding has long been suspected of bringing about his wife's death. It helps not at all when a series of murders coincides with Fielding's move into the new neighborhood Elizabeth. The governess to Fielding's children takes it upon herself to either clear her boss's name or prove him a murderer. So, Unseen, I'm kind of really curious to check this one out. 2K scan from the OCN, done by Imprint Films themselves, which is not something that I've particularly noticed them doing. But this is good news if they're able to do their own scans as well as just their own releases. So, yep, that's really cool. Audio commentary by noir expert Film Noir Foundation board Alan K. Rode again, and Gothic Noir: The Unseen Touch of Henry James video essay by Imogen Sarah Smith and Max Evie. So yeah, yep, again, nice little sets these, and when they are effectively half price, that makes the decision much simpler. So I was very restrained in, as I said, in this buy one get one free sale. Many others I know were not that restrained, and were buying $1,000 worth of stuff for $500. Which, if you can do it, do it. Good stuff. And we're on to 2 Eureka box sets here at the end, which just came out. The first one here Strange New Worlds, science fiction at DFA, DEFA or DEFA, I'm not entirely sure. I watched this entire thing. I was absolutely blown away, mesmerized with this thing. Beautiful box as well. Get into that. And what this is, I'll read from the back, then I'll get the discs out, is, I'll put back in so you get something to look at. This is 4 films from East Germany, which is just amazing. We're going from, what years here? 50s to 60s, I think this was. I'll go through this here. Following the division of Germany in the aftermath of World War II, DEFA, that's DEFA, was established as the state-owned film of East Germany as the German Democratic Republic. Active from 46 until its dissolution in 92, the studio made hundreds of feature films in a diverse range of genres, from hard-hitting dramas to crime, thrillers, fairy tale adaptations, and westerns. During the 60s and 70s, it produced a series of colourful and wildly imaginative science fiction films in which courageous cosmonauts attempt to unravel the secrets of the universe. Some of these were pretty wild. The Silent Star, Signals, a Space Adventure, Elomia, and In the Dust of Our Stars, of the Stars. All worth watching. I'll stay at the start. Based on Stanislaus Lem's The Astronauts, the Silent Star begins as an extraterrestrial object is unearthed in the Gobi Desert. When it is found to have originated on Venus, the crew of spacecraft Cosmocrator is dispatched to the yellow planet to solve its mysteries. This one was quite entertaining. It was the first one I watched, The Silent Star. It was, look, and it applies to pretty much all these films here. I really, really enjoy science fiction, astronaut, kind of Earth to space exploration films before we'd actually done it. Because it's just full of, like, there's the concept of, like, rocket, planet, but then there's full of all this stuff that is just not how it ended up happening. Like, life on board a ship, like, there's, gravity is taken care of with magnetic boots, and people eating cucumber sandwiches and making cups of tea. It's just outrageous, and I love seeing that stuff. But yes, that one, Silent Star, was a very good, strong start. Signals, a space adventure. The Laker and its crew are set to find a lost research vessel, the Icarus. As they draw near to the missing craft, they begin to intercept a series of strange radio transmissions. That one felt like a Star Trek episode. It really, really did. And it had some completely wild 60s style, like, go-go dancing, but East German. Really, really weird film, with a few sort of weird subplots going on in there. And it's the reason I say it's Star Trek is like these German explorers land on this planet and everyone's speaking German and they all look exactly like they did, and it's like, okay, you're not very alien, and they get invited to dinner and everyone's dancing, and then there's drugs, and it was a wild film and lots of colors. So yeah, that was good. Next up, Elomia sees several ships dispatched from the space station Margot disappear without trace, and it's down to science officer Maria Scholl to find out what happened to them. That one was a bit of a slow burn, and there's a few sort of plots that go through that one. It's not as simple as that one sounds, and some of it, I think it was intentional, was sort of like time jumping. Like, we go from this guy, I can't remember his name, unless Maria Scholl is a male's name, it could be, but it's mainly a man in the film. And it's like him being, conscripted to work on a space station on the moon, I think it was, and getting bored, and like it's all getting very Dark Star on that one, and he's just complaining about being there. Then it flicks back to him being on Earth, and it's non-linear, I don't think. So it was an interesting one. I need to kind of rewatch that one to see if I can grasp it. It was the one out of the 4 that I was like, well, I enjoyed them all, but Elomia is the one that I think didn't work as well, and it might just be because I went into it expecting something more linear. So I'll rewatch that one. But finally, the dust in our stars follows the crew of the Crino as they land on the planet Tem4 to investigate a distress signal and find themselves under the psychedelic influence of its bizarre inhabitants. Sorry, I got that mixed up. In the Dust of Our Stars is the weird psychedelic influence one. Signals is um, Signals is, I think that was, no, one of them is the first spaceship on Venus. Is that one? And that's the title that's been renamed here. That might be this one. No, okay, so Silent Star, I knew as first spaceship on Venus, and that's what all the public domain DVDs are. So that one I had seen a crappy print of before. That's the most standard film of all of them. The most standard, like you could transport that to being a 1950s American film and it'd work. The difference with it is though, and I was so surprised, and I learned something about East Germany, is that, you know, I think of a 50s German film and go, it's going to be a very German cast, but there was a lot of African people in it, all speaking German. There was some Chinese in there, Chinese ladies in that one as well. It was an incredibly diverse cast, and then I looked into it. I'm like, okay, so they've got cast from countries that are also communist, and right. So it was not what I expected. You're post World War II Germany, and so now you're into this rebirth of Germany, at least the east side, and it was far more diverse than I was expecting. That was to its benefit. It was really entertaining. Pardon me. And yeah, just sort of mixing some of the titles up here. So yeah, Signals was also quite a linear one. The Lost Research Vessel, I enjoyed that one. But yes, the In the Dust of Our Stars follows. That was the crazy. There's a signal. They launch a ship. They go to the planet, and it's like this weird episode of Star Trek with psychedelic shrooms and weird dancing, and that's your oddball one. If you want to watch a crazy one, watch In the Dust of Our Stars. And there's a brilliant bit in the middle where, pretty sure it was that one where they go to this like entertainment room, and they're watching this TV. We're on the alien planet here. They're watching this TV, and it's like all these weird claymation and animated drawn short films, and we see the majority of it. And you're watching this film in a film, and then it flicks back to the people being entertained, laughing and rolling around. And this is so weird. So yeah, definitely recommend this set. It's really good. I watched some of the special features too. There's a heap of them. But yeah, I did confuse some of the films there. But yeah, it's great. And in an entire world, I'd not known anything about these East German films from DEFA. So the covers are all kind of odd the way they put it together. So In the Dust of Our Stars, there with a bit more of a description of the film. But yeah, you got Silent Stars in it, and Dust of Our Stars is in it. So it's a little bit odd, some of this. And then we get Signals in here, which has got Signals and Elamir on the one disc. So it's all a little bit odd how they've done that, divided it up, but it's fine, whatever. The films look good, sound good. Big book, going through the films. Great imagery there, give you an idea. Yeah, like I said, there's some really wacky stuff in these films. Particularly that last one. But yeah, definitely encourage you to check them out. And yeah, look at that photo. This guy was absolutely bonkers bad guy. And every time you see him, his hair color was changed. And they show the process, like he gets his minions. He's sort of like the emperor of this planet. He gets his minions to color his hair with this color dye. So it goes blue, and then they wash his hair and they do it red. And like, this is so weird. But yeah, highly recommended. Highly recommended. If you want to just see some some pretty weird films from a country that you probably haven't seen films from, East Germany, then check this out. Strange New World Science Fiction at DEFA, the Masters of Cinema release from Eureka. Recommend that. And I paired it up with this one, Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Creamy at CCC collection. Creamy just means thriller in German, I believe. And for, colloquially, people refer to the Creamy as sort of the pre-Gialli. It's like the years were just before the Italian Giallo takeoff. So this is sort of early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, I think. And then the Giallo sort of more took off into the late 60s and 70s. Yeah, it's just German thrillers, and so far I've only watched one, so I can't comment too much on them. But I've done it again. Well, there you go. Look, you get the nice box, the artwork. I'll pop it back here so you get something to look at, and I'll read you from the back. Got 6 films, I think, on this one. In the 60s, a cycle of crime films, or krimis, became hugely popular in West German audiences. So that's the East, this is the West. Adapted from the works by British crime writer Edgar Wallace and his son Brian Edgar Wallace, they combined the traditional murder mystery with horror as they depicted animated killers stalking the victims through foggy English landscapes. From the streets of London to isolated rural mansions, following the early success of the cycle after the release of Face of the Frog and The Crimson Circle, veteran producer Arthur Bronner launched his own series of Wallace krimis with his company CCC Film. Presented here are 5 key films drawn from CCC's krimi cycle. Is it 5? 6 to me. No, it's 5. 6 posters on the back here. Is there a bonus film? Probably is a bonus film. So, The Curse of the Yellow Snake. I haven't watched this yet. A mysterious cult wishes to lay its hands on an ancient artifact that has been brought to London from Hong Kong. The one I have watched is this next one, The Strangler of Blackmore Castle, and it was fantastic. It sees a masked murderer stalk the grounds of a vast British estate, who brands his victims' foreheads with the letter M. Very gialli. Point of view shots through the eyes of the killer, gloves and weapons. It's very gialli-like. Highly recommend that one. If you only check out one at least, I mean, it's the only one I've seen, but it is definitely recommended from me. It's the one that when I was looking it up seems to be quite a high tier krimi. So for my very first krimi to check out, happened to be that one. Yeah, it's put me in a good spot. Next up we have lost my spot there. London is faced with dual threats in The Mad Executioners as a gang of hooded vigilantes roam the streets while a sadistic killer is on the loose. Annoying truck going past. Yep. Jack the Ripper lives on in The Monster of London City as a series of brutal murders brings panic to the British capital. Finally, in The Racetrack Murders, or The Seventh Victim, people are dropping like flies in and around a stately home. The murders might have something to do with the owner's prized racehorse. So, yeah, we've got the back here, The Yellow Snake, The Strangler of Blackmore Castle, Mad Executioners, Phantom of Soho, Monster of London City, and The Racetrack Murders. So, I don't know, must be why the 6 there. With its masked killers, labyrinth plots, and gothic atmosphere, the Wallace krimi blended crime, thriller, and horror into a potential mix that had a significant influence on both the Italian giallo and the American slasher. This seems to be very true. 5 of the films, restorations provided by CCC Film, alongside a wealth of special features, including a bonus film, The Phantom of Soho. There we go. There's a standard definition film here, The Phantom of Soho, which explains why there's 6 films on the back here. So there you go. I don't know why that one's an SD, maybe just what they had laying around, but yes, whatever. Good. I'm not counting badly. You get all films in 2K restorations except for the SD film. Bonus feature that I just talked about, SD, that's The Phantom of Soho from 64. English subs, newly revised. English dubs for all films. I watched it in German with English subs, the one that I watched. And then a heap of features, which I won't get into. But yeah, based on the one film I watched, I am going to be eagerly finishing the rest off. We get the booklet. And similar style here. So you get the Monster of London City. And then you can flip it around and get some different artwork in there. Multiple disc. So Monster of London City. And Racetrack Murders. And then alternate artwork for one of the other films there. And this side we have The Curse of the Yellow Snake. And some write-up. And Mad Executioners there. And we get Yellow Snake and Blackmore Castle, the one I watched on the one disc. And the Mad Executioners and the Phantom of Soho on the other disc. So, yeah. Again, an interesting way of distributing the film per disc, but it doesn't really matter. Good stuff. And, I was very, very happy to pick both of these sets up. Particularly this German one, because that was just so utterly unexpected. But, yeah, great sets. Recommend you pick them both up. Strange New World, Science Fiction at Defa, and Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Krimi at Triple C. And that is this Blu-ray update for month of June 2025. Hope you enjoyed. Apologies again for my stuffed nose and nasals and occasional coughings and clearings of throats, but hey, it's winter here. It's what happens. What can I do about it besides not do a video? And that's just not an option, is it? Got to do a video. So here we are. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. Consider joining the channel for early access, 99 cents a month. Very cheap. You can't even get a coffee for that. You can't even get an Allen's Red Snake for 99 cents anymore. Unbelievable. Check out this guy. Check out this guy. And I'll see you next time.